I won't add anything then.
Testing 1 2.
I
Yeah, no, I'll add that all tomorrow morning. Hello.
Okay. I'll send you the link in Messenger for this new story then.
Okay. Pretty sure we're live. Hello. Testing.
Yeah, we
Testing.
just went live on Twitch.
Live. Live on Twitch. Live on Facebook. But for some reason, DLive is not showing that we're live. Wonder why. There we go.
Hmm.
And we're live on YouTube. We're live everywhere. And Restream kicked me out, so let me exit that.
Restream kicked you out again. Restream don't like you lately.
No, their chat just keeps updating. The chat just keeps on updating. Go to my channel here. Go live so I can see it. Turn down the volume so I don't blow my ears out. Alrighty. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. It's Monday night. 8 p.m. 8:01 actually.
Dad joke of the day.
Don't ruin it.
I started a band called Books. No one can judge us by our covers.
There it is, folks. There it is. Yep. All right. Hello, Hellnut. How are you, sir?
Is it
Welcome
hell nut
back.
or hell not?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both, if you ask me. Just, putting it out there, just, saying so.
Hell not like the dad joke.
Well, it was funny. It's a dad joke. All dad jokes are great.
Yep.
And then, of course,
Yep.
Lady Death, hello. We're getting live. I had to reset my chat, which is oh so wonderful. But we're gonna get going here. So let's do it, JT. Let's do our intro. Yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Avenger Pretenders. It's Monday night. It's time for the Geek and the Rednet to once again review the latest Avenger series. Right now, we are working on What If, Episode 5. Get your popcorn, get your soda, get your adult beverage, sit back, relax, and have some fun.
That's right. Of course, I'm talking to you, peoples. It is now officially spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I'm Sully the Geek with my good friend JT the Redneck. Hello and welcome everybody. Everybody in our Twitch chat, watching on YouTube, DLive. Everybody who's watching us live, thank you for tuning in each and every week. And for those that download the podcast, thank you for taking it with you as you go. Because, hey, that's how we roll. So, let's get right down to the nitty gritty and we're going to get right to it because, wow! Episode 5, What If? Zombies! Yeah. Zombies! Zombies make everything so wonderful. So wonderful. I can honestly say I think this is my favorite episode so far out of the What If series. I'm sure JT will probably agree with me on this.
My favorite one before this was the one where Hulk exploded, so that would be episode 2.
Yep. 2? No, 3.
Until today.
Episode 3.
Until this episode.
Yeah.
Episode 3, yeah. Until this episode, that one was my favorite, but that has changed now.
Lady Death says, so sick of zombies. Yeah, but this episode was great. This really was. The start of the episode obviously was interesting because they tied it all the way back to Infinity War. Woo!
Mm-hmm.
Infinity War. Basically after, what's his name there? Heimdall sent the Hulk back to Earth using the Bifrost, the dark energy, the dark matter. and use the Bifrost to send the Hulk crashing down into the Sanctum Sanctorum in the middle of New York City. Nobody was there. Nobody was
Yeah, that
there.
was kind of creepy.
It was weird. Nobody was there. And the first thing that Hulk says is, Thanos is coming. Thanos is coming. Hello?
Right?
So,
Anybody home?
anybody home? Anybody home? But obviously, before we get into all of that detail, we gotta start where it all started. The Watcher narrating once again, Jeffrey Wright doing his thing and telling everybody, hey, this is what's going on. We open up the scene with the quantum realm scene in Ant-Man 2. So obviously this ties together between Ant-Man 2 and Infinity War, only this time it's a completely different alternate reality, because as Hank Pym is flying his quantum vehicle to find his love, the long lost wife, Janet Van Dyne, he finds her. Only this time she's infected with a virus from the quantum realm that has turned her into a zombie.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun dun dun. Halnot says, "Yay, Marvel Zombies! Yes, Marvel Zombies!" And we're gonna get into all the Easter eggs at the end, as always. Once Janet Van Dyne is found, she attacks Hank Pym, and before you know it, they're coming out of the quantum zone and they're attacking Scott Lang. Hope Van Dyne, the Wasp,
Got the hell out the way.
ran. She was like, gone. And of course, within 24 hours, the virus spread across the northwestern United States. And then the Avengers showed up in response to that. And then all hell broke
That
loose.
sealed the fate
That sealed
of that universe.
Oh, yeah. Sealed the fate. Did what it needed to do. Because we zoom in to Cap grabbing his neck. And there is Hank Pym shrunken down to Ant-Man size, biting Captain America, turning him into a zombie. Then, of course, all hell's breaking loose. Humans are infected. Superheroes are infected. Zombie apocalypse is at its best. It's gone. It's worldwide. Bruce Banner comes crashing down saying, hey, we got to stop Thanos. Where is everybody? Hello? In this story, though, if you guys noticed, he actually put on a sorcerer's robe. You know, he had Wong's garments on,
the shirt and pants.
So, you know, hey, you got to get clothes. You got to get clothes, you know?
Yeah, I mean, even in the zombie world, you can't run around naked.
Right.
Not a good idea.
Right?
Or go through a drive-through naked.
Bad
Still
idea.
not a good idea.
So Bruce Banner leaves the Sanctum Sanctorum going, hello, and noticing that it is deserted. New York is destroyed. Cars are everywhere. And lo and behold, Cull Obsidian and Ebony Maw arrive just like they do in Infinity War. Only this time, Banner decides to take them on by himself. And he's still having the same struggle that he's having with the Hulk. They're not talking. They're fighting. They're being babies, pretty much. Which, you know, if you think about it, the Hulk is technically 5. And Bruce Banner has 7 PhDs. So.
Right. Very true.
Hellnut says, wait, you can't re-dead the undead naked? I've been doing it wrong then.
I don't know if I'd want to.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm naked.
I'm right there with you. So, as the Cull Obsidian and Ebony Maw are about to attack Bruce Banner, Ebony Maw is doing his magic and everything. A wonderful portal opens up, and out comes Doctor Strange, Wong, and Tony Stark. and they're attacking Ebony Maw and Cull Obsidian. Going great. Bruce is like, yeah, all right, you're so screwed now. Until they start
guys,
eating.
think you're I think you're going a little too far
Little
there.
overboard. Little overboard. And you
Guys.
you see the three of them starting to eat them and bite them and rip body parts off and basically do what's in every single zombie movie and TV show that's out there. I can tell you from my personal experience watching this part, this was so much better than The Walking Dead, and I like The Walking Dead. Just putting it out there. Ooh, hit my microphone. Just putting it out there, okay? So, at the same time, we finally see them fighting, and who shows up? The one, the only, Peter Parker. Peter Parker shows up as Spider-Man, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Wong gets beheaded, which I thought was really cool. Because it was basically a turn of events, like in Infinity War when Cull Obsidian got his arm cut off from the portal.
Right.
Same thing happened to Wong, only it was his head. So you see Wong's head go flying and rolling. Which I thought was hysterical. I thought it was hysterical that there's a lot of ties going to that. And at the same
don't
time...
lose your head about it.
Say what?
I said, dude, don't lose your head about it.
Oh, sorry. My bad. My bad. My bad. And at the same time, the Wasp shows up, as well as Bucky Barnes, Okoye, Sharon Carter, Happy Hogan, and Kurt from Ant-Man. And if you don't remember who Kurt was the Russian. He was the Russian friend who was the criminal.
That's who that was.
Yes, that's who that was. Same voice, same actor.
That was. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
There's the one person I'm sitting there going, I know who that is. I know who that is. I know who that is. I'm pretty sure I know who that is. Who the hell is that?
Yeah. And after they show up, they help Bruce out. They save him. They move on and do their own thing. Doctor Strange's cape is now with them. So it's floating around with them. It's staying with them. It survives. It's doing what it needs to do. Want to say hi to Peabody Nick, who just came into the chat room as well. He says, hello, my Jewish friends. How are you? And I say, shalom. Shalom to you, Mr. friend. We're talking about What If, episode 5, Zombies. And spoiler, if you haven't watched it since last Wednesday, shame on you. Because we're going into the detail. One of the things that I really loved was how do you survive a zombie apocalypse? Leave it to Peter Parker himself to create a video tutorial.
Mm-hmm. When it's too late.
Yes, when it's too late.
He's always like a day late, $1 short on things,
Peter Parker?
Yeah, it seems to be an issue for him.
No, he was bringing Bruce Banner up to speed with that. Listen,
well, I know.
If it wasn't for Peter, some of these people wouldn't have survived.
Well, I understand it. I'm just saying he seems to be a day late and $1 short sometimes.
Well, that's because he's a kid. Just saying. Do the zombies have to be force vaccinated? Not in this timeline, my friend. You run.
They haven't quite developed the vaccine for this one yet.
Yeah, nope.
But they are working on it. They're actually working on it in this episode.
Or so we think. Or so we think. They figure out, the group figures out that they have to go to Camp Lehigh in New Jersey, which is a reference to not just Captain America, but also the second movie, Winter Soldier, where they all went to Camp Lehigh, including Endgame, where they traveled back in time as well. So we've got a good mix-up with that one. And they believe that there's a cure for a virus that is being developed there. However, while they're in Grand Central Station trying to get a train, they lose Happy Hogan and Agent Carter, which sucks. And
one of my favorite lines from this episode is in this part,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where the I can't think of her name, but the guard from Wakanda,
Okoyo.
Okoyo.
Yep, Okoyo.
She's talking about, okay, you guys go this way and you guys go this way, and Peter Parker turns right. Did nobody here watch movies? You don't split
You
up.
don't split up in a zombie movie. But to add to that, the best part is Okoyo responds with, "We don't need to watch those type of movies. We have American reality TV shows." And I went, "Yes!"
Yep. Yep.
Because it's so true.
It was the perfect comment and reply.
It was
And they
great.
were both major digs. It was awesome.
It was fantastic, is what it was. It really was. So they're on the train. Happy Hogan is now gone. He didn't make it to the train. And Agent Carter is now fighting off a zombified Captain America. And she gets eaten. Eaten.
Yes.
Eaten to the
Yes, she
point
does.
where she obviously turns and becomes a zombie herself. Bucky takes care of Cap by not only cutting him in half and kicking him off the train, but taking Captain America's shield and being done with it, which was yay. Bucky is now the new Captain America.
Cutting Cap in half was almost as cool
It was
as
so cool.
blowing up the Hulk.
It really was. It was cool.
You know, I mean,
But-
to see it happen, I almost saw the whole thing in slow motion, you know? It was like stop action film, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It goes step by step, and you see him get cut in half, and I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah. And
There was a lot of oh shits in this episode.
There really were, especially the next part. Because after Agent Carter turns to a zombie and she's pretty much about to go after Bucky, the Wasp flies inside her. Gets swallowed whole and then enlarges herself, and Agent Carter just explodes.
And did you talk about Hawkeye shooting her
No.
with
no, I
in
didn't.
the shoulder, because that's how Happy got it. Or no, Happy got it because he was playing. When he first started fighting them when they were down in the tunnels.
Yeah.
And he's going bang 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 bang
Bang, bang, bang,
every
bang.
time he fired.
Are you saying bang?
And then he did the same thing when Hawkeye shot him and dragged him into the shadows.
Yeah. And that's when he died.
And you hear pew pew.
Bang, bang.
And there's a slight pause. There's a slight pause, and then bang. Whoa.
Yep. You hear him scream. And then, of course, obviously, once, the good thing is when Sharon got hit in the arrow, it was just an arrow. There was no, zombie blood or anything on it. It was just an arrow. So, obviously,
Right.
she wasn't going to get turned. But that's when, Cap started fighting her and bit her and all that good stuff and turned her.
I thought Bucky was or not Bucky. I thought Happy was the one that bit her.
No, she... So, when...
Because they came out of the shadows again.
Yeah, they came out of the shadows, and Happy had the wristwatch that Tony was wearing
right.
that
She had the
gave him the
glove.
gauntlet,
She had.
and she turned
Iron
it
Man
and
glove.
shot him in the head, which was really,
That's right.
even she's like, "I'm so sorry," and triggered it, but then she
But they
took
didn't
it.
show it.
Well, no, they didn't show it. They didn't have to show it. I mean, come on, you got to remember the following scene. Hope Van Dyne is the size of a wasp, which flew into Agent Carter and enlarged herself. And in her own words, I'm covered in Sharon. And all you see is,
Little help, please. I'm covered in Sharon.
I'm covered in Sharon.
That was pretty graphic too.
It was. Like all of a sudden, boom, she's just full size. I'm covered in Sharon.
But it was good timing, though. It was really
Oh, it was
good
perfect timing. And Lady Death says that was gross but funny. It was hysterical. It was hysterical because here's what they did. with this scenario, okay, here's what they did. They took that wonderful fan theory about Ant-Man going up Thanos' butt, and they made it a reality for the zombie What If episode, only with the Wasp. It worked. It worked.
And going down the throat, not
exactly,
but it still worked.
Exactly, it still worked. It was hysterical, and the fact that she's standing there, knees bent, arms out like a marionette, going, "I've got Sharon on me." Yeah, even though she's a superhero, she's being a girl. This is gross.
I got slimed from the inside.
Yeah.
Ew.
In the process, infecting her.
Mm-hmm.
She got infected, and she wanted to pretty much,
and all from a little cut, just a little cut on her shoulder.
All from a little cut through the chute, right to the shoulder. She gets infected, and basically they go to she goes to sacrifice herself. She's saying, "No, you need to kill me. You need to kill me. You guys know what you need to do," and Peter Parker's being the positive one, as always. And she even questions, how are you so positive? In times like this, how are you positive? And he says, well, somebody has to be. Which is true.
Yeah. And I agree, but, sometimes there's a little bit too happy.
Yeah. There is.
There's times where even though you're the most positive guy in the room, you need to pull back on some of the sugarcoating.
Yeah. But think of it this way. Peter is, one, a teenager, two, watches movies, and if he's anything like me, is loving this. And I mean loving it. It's a zombie apocalypse. How can you go wrong with a zombie apocalypse? You can't.
Right.
For us horror film fans, we would be having a ball because it's a zombie apocalypse. We'd be having
it's the
fun.
world that you hope comes to be.
Oh, believe me, with the whole COVID thing from last year, I was really kind of hoping. I was kind of hoping that would happen. I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, I know you were. I've been holding off on asking you about that just because I knew the answer.
Which we'll talk about tomorrow during the Sully Show at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Accidental Punch TV. Shameless plug. Anyway. On their way to Camp Lehigh, the train breaks down. It gets, they do what they need to do. And there's zombies everywhere. And the only way to get out is for Hope to grow large and carry everybody to the camp. And that's when they notice that something's wrong. Hope basically sacrifices herself. She turns. She falls down and dies. And they're all at the camp, but the zombies aren't climbing the fence or walking through the fence. They're outside. And you can tell there's plenty of holes in that fence for them to get into the camp.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're like, wait a second. Why aren't they climbing? Oh, they don't need to. They can walk right through, but they're not even moving. And then they meet up with the Vision. Vision is alive and well. Vision can't turn into a zombie. He's an android. And he's got the Mind Stone, which seems to be working with reversing the virus's effects. To an extent. Because as he's talking, we hear a voice from somewhere trying to give himself an introduction. And it's Scott Lang, Ant-Man. Only the problem is he's just a head. Just a head in a jar.
Yeah, I flashed to Futurama for that one.
Oh, that was the first thing I thought of too, was Futurama. Oh, like, really? His head is in a jar. Like, all right, let's see what happens with this. So Vision was able to cure Lang, keep his head alive in a jar. He doesn't have a body or anything. He's just a head in a jar on a chair. And the group also learns, while Bucky goes on to investigate, that he's keeping a zombified Wanda Maximoff captive.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly
it took me
because
a second to figure out who she was.
Yeah, but mostly because she was resisting the Mind Stone.
Mm-hmm.
And Vision was basically keeping her alive and feeding her, and Bucky finds Black Panther, T'Challa himself, with
King T'Challa.
with half a leg missing.
No, both legs missing.
Nope, half a leg. He had one full leg.
Oh wait, you're right. At first I thought it was both legs.
Yep, he had one full leg. And first thing T'Challa says is, "We need to get out of here now. We need to go. Like,
It was
now."
time to go 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. And, well, because of that, Wanda breaks free and chaos ensues. I would not want to mess with the Scarlet Witch as a zombie.
No.
Ever.
I wouldn't want to mess with her as a human.
Also true. Also true.
And as a human, she at least has control of herself most of the time.
Yeah.
As a zombie, there's no such thing as control.
Yeah. Now, at this point in time, Vision is like, yep, we got to get out of here. Let's go. And Wanda kills Kurt, Okoye, and possibly Bucky. But I don't know. You don't see him die.
Yeah, you don't see him die.
You don't see him die.
He disappears.
Oh, he
You
goes
don't see him
flying.
die.
He goes flying.
Yeah.
But you don't see him die. You don't get him. You don't see him get
I would.
eaten.
I would. Knowing Bucky,
Mm-hmm.
or I shouldn't say knowing Bucky. I should say knowing what I know about Bucky.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty much like Captain America and can get thrown these huge distances because it's happened to him before.
Yes.
And land, and it's gonna oof him a little bit.
Superhero
but it's
landing.
not gonna kill him.
Superhero landing.
Yeah, flat on their face or flat on their back.
Yeah.
Or
maybe
but
their knees.
it's not gonna kill him.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's dead, but I think he was just too far away to realistically have made it back to where they were.
Yes. Agreed.
Especially because he would have had to fight his way back through all the zombies to get there.
If that's the direction he went, they just showed him go flying. We didn't even see him land.
I figured that whole place was surrounded, so.
Oh, yeah, probably. So, after he goes flying, Vision decides that he can't live without Wanda and decides to sacrifice himself and rips the Mind Stone out of his head and give it to Peter so they can bring it to Wakanda and find a cure. Hellnut says, really hard on the knees. It really is. Very hard on the knees, the superhero landing. So after he sacrifices himself, that lets all the zombies into the camp.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
boy.
the one thing that's been stopping them is gone.
Oh, yeah. Everything that was keeping them back, all hell is breaking loose now, folks. So while Peter, T'Challa, and Lang escape in a quad jet, Bruce Banner decides that he is going to hold them off and battle Wanda and the oncoming zombie horde, which earlier on, Bruce almost got bit, but the Hulk kind of showed his face a little bit, or his arm, and was able to fight them off. So, good save on that one. But now it's Hulk against Wanda and the horde of zombies. Oh boy.
Still a good fight.
Very good fight. Very quick, but good fight. We don't see who wins. We don't see who wins. We just know that the Hulk is doing what he needs to do in order to get that quad jet up off the ground and off into the sky so they can get to Wakanda and hopefully find a cure for this. Then,
Maybe.
yeah, maybe, maybe, and it's just Peter, Scott Lang, and T'Challa. That's it. It's just them. And even Peter's like, Tony made me an Avenger once, and I told him no. Now I don't have anybody. Oh. And Scott goes, well, you have me. I may be just ahead, but you have me.
Right.
I'm an Avenger. So it worked out. Until we see Wakanda and the force field that is holding people back. And then
Can I say it? Can I say it?
Oh, absolutely you can. Absolutely.
And then there is a zombie Thanos. Cut to black.
Well, not just a zombie Thanos, though. He almost has...
That's the part I caught.
He almost has a complete Infinity Gauntlet. So...
Gee, I wonder what stone he's waiting for. Could it be maybe yellow in color?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Lady Death says now
that was effed up.
Awesome.
Yes, it was.
So true. So true. It was crazy. Now, it wouldn't be a what if without Easter eggs. Because, well, let's face it, everything that Marvel does has Easter eggs in it. Easter eggs to references, so on and so forth. I already mentioned the references from Infinity War, as well as Ant-Man and the Wasp, and a whole bunch of other things that were going on. So we've already covered that. The Sorcerer's outfit, that was a big Easter egg that, kind of did what it needed to do. But I especially like how when they sent the Hulk crashing through the Sanctum Sanctorum, that it was almost the same exact camera angle for the animated version than it was for the movie, which was really cool. So I like how they tied that together. And, the fight between transforming and not transforming, I mentioned, but we also have the Avengers theme. The Avengers theme. I didn't even mention that. When the Avengers show up to take on Cull Obsidian and Ebony Maw, you can hear the Avengers theme playing. Because, hey, they come through a portal, and yay, we're going to, do what we need to do. And then, of course, the bloodbath. So, one of the things that most people probably didn't catch, and I don't know if JT did, I, as a... wonderful Spider-Man fan, said, "It's me, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man." He finally said the line. He never said it in the movies.
I did notice that.
Yeah.
I did notice that.
If he did, it was more of, how can I be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man if there's no neighborhood? He makes a good point. But he never said, I'm your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. So he said it. The other thing is, this episode, if you're comparing it to the original Marvel Zombies storyline, they honor the comic. It's not exactly from the comic, but they honor it by making it one of those quantum realm, different dimensional viruses. Okay. In the original comics, it was Sentry, who is like Marvel's Superman, but he was from another universe, and he's the one who infected the Avengers. Now, people were, at least some of the articles that I read, some people were pretty upset that Hank Pym destroyed 2 timelines. I honestly don't know why they're upset with that.
Because people aren't happy unless they're getting pissed off about something.
That's true.
You know.
But really, Hank Pym didn't destroy the timeline. Janet Van Dyne did. She was the one who was a zombie and bit Hank Pym, and then the two of them
but
took out Lang.
if Hank Pym hadn't have gone into the quantum realm to find her,
Right,
that never would have happened.
But you got to remember, in this episode, Hope was the one who said we should do this.
Yep.
It wasn't Hank.
Yeah, she because during the episode she said that it was her fault. She was the one that was obsessed with getting her mother back and sent her dad and all that stuff. So
exactly.
You could say it was her fault. You could say it was his fault. You could say it was Mom's fault. But
yeah.
In the breakdown of all of it, in my opinion, if anybody is going to be to blame,
yes,
it's going to be him.
Sure.
Because he's the one that actually took the trip.
Right. He's the one who went in.
And wasn't quick enough to avoid getting bit by her.
Right. And it happened. It happened. Another awesome tie-in, indirectly, is Zombieland. Everybody knows I love Zombieland. Zombieland has the the rules of surviving Zombieland that that they make up, cardio, stuff like that, which is where So You Want to Survive the Zombie Apocalypse video that Peter Parker made comes from. And it's basically a direct homage to Zombieland and how to properly survive a zombie apocalypse. But there was also a Joss Whedon nod to it, which most people don't get. So,
before you go,
go ahead.
Want to say a hi real quick to our good, before you keep going, want to say hi real quick to our good buddy Neil, a.k.a. Captain Country, over in the UK. He pops in, he says, Easter eggs, I'm rather partial to a jar of pickled onions instead.
All right.
As for Janet Van Dollar Dime Bar, it's all her fault. Good morning, my transatlantic friends.
It was her fault. She was the one.
And that is a classic Neil.
It is a classic Neil.
That is a classic Neil. Janet Van Dollar Dime Bar.
There you go. I got to get that as a soundbite. Classic Neil. There you go.
Classic Neil.
We're going to make you part of the shows. So, obviously, there's a...
Neil's a soundbite. You know he's part of the family now.
There you go. Just saying. So, there was a Joss Whedon nod to it with the title screen of How to Survive a Zombie Apocalypse. There's a little paper cutout of a zombie that Peter Parker drew that goes across the screen, which is a direct homage to the end of just about all of Joss Whedon's TV shows, where it was a mutant enemy and it had a zombie walking across the screen. So that was a really nice nod to him. Whether you guys like Joss Whedon these days or not, listen, what he's done is what he's done. It is what it is. Oh well, Then of course they reference Happy's boxing skills as well in the undead vlog for Peter, and he basically says, showing Happy punching, and among his special skills is boxing. And it calls back to the comics, where Happy Hogan was actually an amateur boxer in the comics. So I like what they're doing. And I've been saying this a lot. I like that they're tying the MCU to the comics and the comics to the MCU. I like that they're doing this, and it's pretty awesome that they're doing what they're doing. Then of course you have the comments under the introduction of all the characters, one of which is Kurt, who they mention as the resident weirdo.
Yeah, pretty much.
He is.
Kurt was this episode's Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, but he was funny.
Yes, he was. He was funny.
He was funny.
Neil said boxing skills, can't box out his own damn shadow.
Not these days, anyway.
Yeah.
But Kurt, comes from a Slavic background, and of course they bring back Baba Yaga, who was the 18th century European witch, not Keanu Reeves. Uh, they had to mention that, not Keanu Reeves, where he referred to Baba Yaga in Ant-Man and the Wasp because of Ghost, the character Ghost. So good tie back to that. But also his coat. If people didn't notice his coat, it said ex-con on it. That was the name of the company that they started in Ant-Man and the Wasp for security purposes. So Kurt was wearing his coat when everything happened. Then, of course, we have, and I mentioned it earlier, Happy was wearing the Iron Man watch glove from Civil War, where, Tony just basically hit a whole bunch of buttons on his watch and had the repulsor right there on the glove, and he was able to shoot it and attack people, and it was great. Then we have Captain America's shower curtain. Captain America's shower curtain. There was a shower curtain. If you didn't notice, it ties to Bucky's backstory. Goes right to the comics. Right to the comics. Then, of course, ties to Falcon and Winter Soldier, too. So, yeah. It's awesome. Yep. Sharon Carter. If you didn't... I freaking love how they did this. So, with Sharon Carter in Peter's vlog, he introduces Sharon as, the spy. But it's not just the spy, it's Blonde Bond. Which is a tie to Daniel Craig, who was the first blonde James Bond. And I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome. But for her special skills, eulogies. So I thought that was pretty appropriate as well. Special skills eulogies, which
it definitely works.
It does work. I mean, most of her lines was from her Aunt Peggy's eulogy at her funeral. Oh man, it was interesting to say the least. Then of course, like I said, Camp Lehigh. That's a very big tie to multiple movies, and you also got the Ant Van. If you didn't notice it yet, the Ant Van was in it. They were driving it, and got bigger when it needed to be. So while they were avoiding the zombies and squishing pesky street zombies, you had the van. So they were doing what they needed to do, and even the fight between Cap and Sharon, that was had to have been tough. I know it was animated, but it still had to be tough, because Cap pretty much just kicked the shit out of her and ate her. Ate her. And then, of course, end of the line. End of the line has been a big thing when it comes to Cap and Bucky. And, of course, it basically said for Bucky, he says, "Sorry, pal, I guess this is the end of the line." And kicks him out the door. That's it. He was with him until the end of the line.
Yep.
Gotta love it. You gotta love it. Also, the movie references. Peter's got a lot of movie references. Holy crap.
Oh, yeah. He's Mr. Movie in that thing.
Oh, without a doubt. Aside from dropping Empire Strikes Back and Aliens in the original MCU, he mentioned Sex and the City.
Mm-hmm.
The girls from Sex and the City. A lot of cultural references that he drops. And we finally get... What was it? We finally get confirmation that Uncle Ben is in the MCU.
Yep.
We know he's there. With great power comes great responsibility. We don't need to see him die and Peter get his powers over and over again. We've done it twice. Third time around, Marvel did it right. Just putting it out there. But it definitely recalls, his parents in the comics, Uncle Ben in the comics, so on and so forth. So it was a very good that confirmation came out. The other thing is they reference Spider-Boy in this. Now, for those that don't remember, there was originally an Avengers versus JLA. It was, a wonderful storyline between Marvel and DC where they
Mhm.
combined and they created their. Oh boy.
Neil, once again, Uncle Ben makes lovely egg fried rice available from your local Walmart.
Which do not sponsor this show, but it'd be really cool if they did. So, uh, Kurt calls Peter Parker Spider-Boy, which is a reference to the Spider-Boy comic in the Marvel versus DC comic storyline mashup that they did, where they combined Spider-Man and Superboy and just put them all into one as one character. So it was pretty cool that they did that. One thing that they did change, instead of Janet's head in the comic, they switched it out for Scott, which it worked. It did work. Black Panther's eaten leg, very similar to the comic. Very similar to the comic. The only difference is in the comic he lost an arm and a leg. So they kind of did what they needed to do there. And
Well, they have to give it their own feel,
yeah.
You can't, it's just like when you do a karaoke song, you don't want to copy it
Right.
note for note and everything. You want to make it your own, but you still want to give maybe not full credit, but as much credit as you can to the original. So and they did this. They've done this many times so far in these 5 episodes where they've given props,
and then went
but they've
screw
gone
you.
the other way.
Another thing that they did, they completely flipped WandaVision.
Yeah.
They flipped the roles. WandaVision, it was Wanda doing everything, and this time it was Vision doing it. So, yeah. The quad jet, big reference to Captain Marvel. They had the quad jet. They took a Quinjet and they souped it up and did what they needed to do to make it go into space. So that was really cool.
Yep.
And Scott loves Harry Potter. He loves Harry Potter. As they're escaping Camp Lehigh, he goes flying by with the cloak and goes, Wingardium Leviosa, as he's coming out.
Yeah, I laughed my ass off when I heard that. I'm like, Harry Potter? Where the hell does Harry Potter have to do with this?
Like, seriously, what the hell? There is a possibility that there was another cameo, which I don't want to say it's reaching, because I really don't.
Maybe
but
a bit of a stretch?
A little bit. Supposedly, there is a Deadpool cameo. Now, looking at the picture, I'm kind of torn. Mostly because the fact is Deadpool can regenerate.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, so can Captain America. But Deadpool's healing factor is a lot better than Captain America's. And I will show the picture for everybody who is watching on Twitch and all of our wonderful media outlets here. So don't worry, folks. I will show it. Because that's...
Have no fear. Sully is here.
Have no fear. I can show you. Yay. Yay. And this is the only reason why I think this is a stretch is because of the katana handles. So, just looking at the picture, you can see that they've got, he's got 2 swords on the back. But the problem is, this person has hair,
Mm-hmm.
and it also looks like a cape of some sort.
You know, it looks that right. That almost looks like a Spider-Man mask.
Yeah, like,
Like like right down from his shoulder, it looks like the eyes of a Spider-Man's mask there.
yeah. And when I saw this, I said to myself, you know what? There's no way that this is Deadpool. Because if I remember correctly, Deadpool had a very big role in the zombie comic line. Uh, Lady Death says,
Micaiah
I call
says,
BS.
"I call BS." And in reference to your accent, Neil goes, "How very English of one's voice was that, my dear old chap?"
Oh, why, thank you. I don't practice at all. Just saying. So, yeah.
I'm kind of with Kaya on this one. I'm calling BS because just because he has the two swords on his back, and even though it looks like he may have the Deadpool helmet or the
Yeah.
helmet, hood there by his shoulder, even with zombies, if people have been burned like he was,
Yeah.
as extensively as he was on his face, it still would have shown in the zombie skin.
Yes.
And nothing about the facial skin on that zombie, besides the fact, like you said, it has hair,
He's got hair. It looks like he's got a beard.
makes me think Deadpool. Yeah. You know, nothing about that makes me think Deadpool.
So, and I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to do the whole devil's advocate thing, but I really can't.
Yeah, it's there's not enough. There's not enough. If there were more wrinkles in his face, and that
Sure.
kind of thing, or maybe if the part that I'm calling possibly the Deadpool mask were more evident,
Yes.
maybe then it would lean me that way. But there's just too many differences outside of what he was not that I can't go that far.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, maybe it's another character, though. I don't think it's Deadpool.
could be.
I really don't. I don't
Could
think
be.
it's Deadpool at all. They mentioned that Hope saved Scott twice. So, yay.
He even admits that.
And he did. That's twice she saved me. This is most likely a nod to Hope pulling Ant-Man out of San Francisco Bay in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and where he fainted while in giant mode and nearly drowned, which technically was after we got Janet Van Dyne out of the quantum realm. But it's a possibility.
Right.
They mentioned Tony Stark's offer to Peter to join the Avengers. And to me, this is a little bit of a tie to a couple of different things. One, T'Challa says death is not the end. Because Wakandans believe
in Wakanda, death is not the end.
death is not the end. It's just, in my culture, death is not the end. I can't do it like Chadwick Boseman. It'd be cool if I could. But,
No.
Which is the same line that was used in Captain America and the Winter Soldier. But it could also refer to Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
Hmm?
So there's a lot going on when it comes to the Easter eggs. A lot going on. A lot of references, a lot of homages, a lot of callbacks, the works,
Yeah, and they've done that in every episode so far.
Oh yeah, lots of stuff.
I mean, episode one, I would say, was the lightest of the episodes.
Yep.
But they have gone Easter egg crazy in at least these last three.
They know what they're doing, that's for sure. So, with that being said, JT, what do you give last week's episode? What if zombies? What do you give it for what if question marks?
There were a lot of really cool things in this episode that I loved. There was a lot of funny ass shit that literally made me laugh so hard I almost had to pause
Mm-hmm.
the video so that I didn't miss anything, and that kind of stuff. The Harry Potter reference was awesome. Captain America getting split in half
That was
was
cool.
just, and when Bucky did the kick to kick the upper part of his body off of the train, every frustration that he has ever had with Captain America went into that kick,
Oh yeah.
and you know it. Great episode, a lot of great tie-ins and all that. Um, I'm gonna have to go four question marks today.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Four
have to go
question
four
marks.
question marks. A
All right.
lot, like I said, a lot of good stuff, but it didn't. You know me, I'm not a zombie person,
That's true.
but I have been looking forward to the zombie episode since I saw it in the freaking teasers, and I told you that time and time again.
Yes, you
So
did.
what do? You tease me. I think it was Wednesday night
I did.
or
Yeah.
Wednesday afternoon
I did.
that
I did.
it's zombies this week. I'm like, you asshole. Why you want to do that to me? I want to watch it without Kay being here. But I managed to hold off.
Zombies.
Um, good stuff. Good stuff. It was actually better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I'm gonna have to give it a 4. It was a great episode. I
Okay.
enjoyed it. Uh, I liked the premise of it,
Yep.
but I think there were some things that could have been done a little better to have brought it up a little bit. Overall, though, great episode. So I'm gonna go with a 4 this time.
Okay. I'm gonna go with a 4.5. I love zombie stuff, and to be honest, the stuff that they did in this was 10 times better than what you're seeing in any of the zombie TV shows right now. They nailed it. They kept to the comic as best as they can. I loved the gruesomeness of it. And there was a lot of gruesome stuff in it. So it wasn't just your average PG-13 type of cartoon. No. When you see a
Right.
person explode as a zombie, it's comical. Comical. I
When
love
you
it.
see a person explode at all,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah.
to have somebody be exploded from the inside out,
Yeah.
that kind of takes it to the next level there.
And I really to me, I think they did a really good job tying it to the original comic line that was started by Mark Miller, Greg Land, and Robert Kirkman, who, if you guys know, Robert Kirkman is the creator of The Walking Dead. So, tying that in, it came out phenomenal. I loved what they did. Obviously, there's still more heroes that we need to see. We don't know if Bucky is dead. We don't know if the Hulk is dead. We just know they got into a fight. Bucky went flying, and that was the last we saw of him. Eventually, I think we're going to see the Hulk return. Whether or not they do it, that all depends. But to be honest,
Right.
I will give this one a 4.5 because it was that good. I liked it. It was fantastic. It really was. So, what do you guys give it? Lady Death is giving it 4 question marks. So awesome. She's giving it a 4 like you. Captain Country says zombies. I looked like one after the weekend. Damn, I frightened myself.
Yeah, don't forget he had the 100-kilometer Thames walk this weekend that
Yeah.
I do have pictures for. I need to get them over to you, by the way.
Because I want to see it. Damn it.
But we will have an update for you on what happened with that
Nice.
during the first hour tomorrow on the Sully Show.
Absolutely. And before we do go, the one thing that I do have to mention is after What If is done, supposedly there's going to be 10 episodes. We're halfway through, which means we got at least 5 more weeks left. After that, there's going to be a little bit of a break, and then Hawkeye starts this November. So we've got our
Ooh,
next
nice.
we've got our next Avenger Pretender show coming up after What If, and it's going to be Hawkeye. So with that being said, I hope everybody enjoyed this week's edition of Avenger Pretenders. I'm Sully the Geek with JT the Redneck. Thank you very much for tuning in and downloading the show. If you want to check us out live, we are live when we record every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time during any of the Marvel Cinematic Universe TV shows that are out there. And of course, don't forget the Sully Show is live on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. and Shout Out with JT on Thursdays at 8 p.m. With that being said, make sure you download the podcast, subscribe to it, anchor.fm/The Sully Show, and we will see you guys next week. Bye. We're still live. So yay, thanks. Let's see here. You know what? Let's see who we can raid. Let's see who's on, and we'll raid. I kind of like being, actually done in an hour. We're like right on the button. We do an hour. It's fantastic. So let's see who's live here.
Don't get used to that.
I know, right? Tuesdays and Thursdays, forget it. Every time I think you're going to go off the air at 9, all of a sudden it's quarter after. I'm like, oh, I guess he's on a rant. Then I look and see what you're doing. I'm like, yep, he's on a rant.
What can I say?
Hey, you know what? Sometimes it needs to be done. Sometimes.
Hey, if you're not meant to have a midnight snack, why is there a light in the fridge?
I agree. All right, let's see here. You know what? We are gonna raid Taz Wolf. We're gonna raid Taz Wolf.
How come
Hey, mute. Taz Wolf. We're going to raid Taz Wolf. For those that are chiming in who subscribe to the channel, make sure you use Punchers Unite with the Accidental Punch logo and say hi to my buddy Taz Wolf. She is... What is she playing today here? She is playing Apex Legends. Apex Legends is what she's playing. So make sure you go over and say hi. Accidental Punch says, yo, what up? And Punchers Unite, because that's how we roll. For some reason, my Kindle is being a little pain in the neck.
It's being a little bitch.
Little bitch. Bitchin'. So we are going to do a raid. Guys, we'll see you tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on Accidental Punch TV. Later. 3, 2, 1, we be jammin'.